12, so I'll call our regular meeting to order, and if everyone will stand for a prayer.
Heavenly Father, we come to you thanking and praising you for this day. Father, I pray a hedge of protection around our community. Keep us safe as we go into the winter months, fall, winter months, flu season. Keep all our citizens healthy as well, Lord. Father, I pray a special blessing upon all those that are incoming candidates, newly elected officials, and those departing, as well as those that are staying. Father, be with them. Give them strength and fortitude. Help them to remember that they're doing your will. Father, I pray a special blessing upon our first responders, our police, our fire department, sheriff, EMS. Be with them as they take care of our citizens, Lord. Thank you for all the blessings that you've given us, and help us to just keep doing your will. We asked you into this courthouse 4 years ago, Lord, and I ask you to remain as those of us that invited you leave. Remain here, guard and protect the people here, and help us all to do your will. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. If you would join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Thank you all for being here, and Jennifer, all council members present and accounted for tonight. We'll start in on, did everybody have a chance to look over the agenda for the evening? What resolution is that?
62.
Start working our way through it with the Superior Court.
Ordinance is 62. Could not tell you any resolution.
So we have a letter from Superior Court Judge Marsha Hauser. It says, "Dear Auditor, this letter is in regards to our court claims. We need to transfer the following: $4,739.20 from the, that's guardian ad litem.
Guardian ad litem, yes.
Guardian ad litem account into account of general fund law books." I feel like we put a lot of money into law books. Wasn't there some issue at budget time we talked about with her where her law books was like way over or something, Jennifer?
They were going to, the two courts were gonna talk about consolidating, I guess.
I mean, do we have any idea how much we've put into this account this year?
I could have told you if you'd asked me before the meeting.
We all need law books.
The
Lawyers need
resolutions
books.
to
Man, it seems like a
transfer
lot of money.
money.
So, in front of us, we have Resolution 2024-9, which is a resolution to transfer appropriations between major budget classifications. Whereas the Scott County Superior Court Judge Hauser's requested funds to be transferred into and the auditor's office has determined it's necessary to transfer certain 2024 budget appropriations within the said departments and funds herein,
Did she do
which
another? I
is
only got one.
from guardian ad litem to law
Should
books,
have two.
$4,739.20.
She's also asking for, there's another.
There's two of
resolution.
them.
Okay.
This one's the same.
So
No,
this is just a line transfer?
Another $4,739.20.
that's from Gal. That's the one you just did. And then she wants that one too.
And then she also wants $3,201 from interpreter to law book. So that'd be a total of $9,000 more in the law books, right? Four, seven,
Well, just let me do the
9,
calculator.
so about 8,000.
It seems like at one of our budget meetings, they were saying something that if they had to buy a certain amount, it could be up to like $40,000 for them.
7940.
So,
One, it might not be law
8,000.
books, it might be LexisNexis. I mean, we can call her if you want more information, move it to the back of the agenda.
It's up to everybody. If you wanna entertain a motion for the acceptance of this, it's transferring within her budget, so.
I'll make a motion to transfer.
I'll second it.
One question before we
document those. Is that on both resolutions, or do you wanna do one at a time with your motion?
I'll say both of them, we'll do what it is.
I'm fine with both.
Alright, Linda Eubanks with a motion and John Collins with a second on resolution 2024-9 as well as 2024-10 for the transfer from guardian ad litem to law books and interpreter to law books. Any questions or comments from council members?
What happens if we need more money to interpret?
And she's gotta find it in her
She's got it
budget and move
transferred
it
or come
to.
ask for an additional then. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Any opposed? 7-0 on both. Are we signing these at the end or now?
However you wanna do them.
I would do it.
We can do it.
I'm just doing the
We're gonna have
names.
Do the yes and
papers to
no's,
sign before everybody
just-
leaves, so.
And then we'll just put them right here.
Marcel,
You opened up, you didn't ask if anybody had any questions, like, before the meeting?
yeah, I was just gonna do it at the end, but if you want to,
Well, this concerns something on the budget, or on your agenda.
shoot, I'll wait.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, now, renewing this, attorney's, contract, does that have to be done tonight, or could that wait until the end of the year? When some of the new members on the council comes in, we have 3 new members, is that something you could set on to the 1st of January?
We probably
Maybe
could.
give them just, 'cause I know John's been talking about different things passing on as new people's coming in,
Okay.
so give them a chance to respond. I
When
didn't
does
know.
yours end? 31st?
December 31st.
So it ends on December 31st, so I could get with them and put it on for the December and ask them their opinions. But it would have to be renewed in order for her to be here in January, I would say.
Yeah, you would just not have an attorney in January.
Right.
There could be like extension or anything, like, could you extend it into January possibly for the county?
No, I usually do not. No, I have to get, I
No, when
usually get,
Can you do that?
could I? If I wanted to, yeah, I mean,
That's what I'm saying, I don't know if you give them the respect of that, I don't know.
I mean,
well, I mean, if I don't have a contract, I'm not gonna get paid, so.
right.
Right. But the same manner, you got 3 new ones coming in, I didn't know if they had other, avenues or something, or, they may
Yeah.
want to renew it.
And I
Well, and I
can,
brought that up to JR too, and we've talked about that too.
I can reach out to the 3 and see their opinions and, I mean,
I firmly believe when new members come in that they should choose the new attorney if they want one, or if they wanna keep the old one, that's fine.
That's what I'm saying, if you believe that, I figured that you would just give them.
I do, and it's something that JR and I talked about, but I think he has the feeling that it would still be the same attorney. I mean, it
But I
doesn't,
don't know if their opinions would count as votes either, if you did that, rather than wait till January.
no, but
I
I
mean,
think
if-
that they would respect their vote, their
right, I
opinion.
would obviously respect their
Yeah.
opinion and ultimately, I mean, it would
It's
be
just a suggestion.
3 people on a board of 7, so if all other 4 said yes and 3 said no, even if I wanted to, we could wait until, this time next year, the end result would still be 4-3 on that,
I don't think there's any sense in putting it off.
so.
Well, thank you, Johnny.
I appreciate that. And I think a few of the newer incoming are gonna be kinda like we were early on, drinking from a fire hose and trying to learn this job and, maybe in their second year, they would have more input, but I would certainly hope that they would want an attorney for advice to protect them while they're incoming to a new role in the county, in which there's not a whole lot of training for, if you will. It's kinda learn as you go in this field.
Well, I didn't know if they had somebody in mind also, because we've had previous attorneys, I just didn't know.
I'll reach out to them and ask and
All
we'll
right,
go from
appreciate
there.
it.
Yep. Next up is Kevin with the Highway Department.
So I guess the first thing is you wanna table our interlocal agreement and our ARPA till our maybe Thursday meeting.
I think that'd be fair,
Next
don't you, to
about-
where we're all together.
I think at this point that'd be a good
We
idea.
can all talk about it and whatever is.
Had ARPA already been advertised for the 410 for the interlocal? It's already been advertised and we had a
Yeah.
public hearing on it, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, this has been advertised a couple of times now, actually,
Okay,
but I did not have time to advertise it for the 14th, but I don't know, since we're tabling it from a council meeting,
we've already
if it
tabled.
can go to a joint meeting that way.
Yeah, cause we tabled it, and then we've already had public hearing on it, but we will need, do we have an ordinance for it? For Wednesday? I mean, we just need it for Thursday. Okay.
That's my local agreement right here.
So I would entertain a motion, with the,
I move that we table the interlocal agreement and the ARPA funds until we have our joint meeting.
On Thursday.
Thursday.
I'll second.
So motion on the floor from John Collins, second by Lindy Eubanks to table the interlocal agreement with Jefferson County and the use of ARPA funds for some equipment for the highway department until the meeting that we have jointly on Thursday, the 14th, here in this same room. All in favor of that? 7-0, no opposed. All right, what else? you got?
This next thing is just strictly information, and it may be good for the, but there's one for everybody if you wanna pass them on.
Okay, I was like.
Yeah,
that's a
it
lot
ain't
of
that big.
Need more one?
Yeah, let me see, do we have one?
Does it affect Lincoln?
Oh, there you go, thank you.
Do you have one for Jennifer?
Yeah, there's two here.
If not, I think that was that the one from the commissioners meeting or not?
No. So here, I got extra.
You got extra, thanks.
Who else?
Everybody got one?
Yeah, I need one.
You got one? All right, so this is.
So there's no decision or anything, this is just a thought process for the conversation that came up in our meeting, I know last Thursday, it's like, hey, what, could we purchase it to another direction? What else do you need?
Yep.
So, this is kinda, it starts over in the left-hand corner, most used, and it kinda goes in order of probably what we would see as the top thing needing replaced, all the way down to the, 18th thing. This takes us out 10 years. And that breaks it down, what we could replace with used equipment, what we probably could replace with new equipment, kind of gives us a price on both, and what we could, maybe get back in auction proceeds to reinvest into that equipment. What some of that stuff, just a wild guess of what I think it probably sells for, but looking at other things. And then all the way on the far right is, kind of the equipment wish list, it's like things you'd like to add to the cruise if it worked anywhere possible. So that's simply all that is, it just kind of breaks it down, and you can keep that, if that comes up in the next meeting, it's just kind of, that's kind of what we're looking at, and.
That's helpful, thank you.
Thank you.
The only other thing I got, I just got one of these, but I can print more, and it's kind of small print, but that's the same thing I turned into the commissioners, and it's just our 2025 work plan for the highway department. Everything on there looks pretty good. I only have one concern, and really it's not really a concern as it is a conversation of gas and oil. We're budgeted right now for 2025 at 75,000. So if you look at the mowing, you see that red?
This one.
Yeah. So, and then on the next page, I think I had the mowing that's red. That's the fuel that I predict will run through the mowing, and the fuel I think will run through asphalt. Now, I'm not telling you that's gonna be dead on, but I think it's gonna be somewhere in that range, and it's like 70,000. So we're only budgeted at 75,000.
Okay.
And, looking at what we've used this year so far, I think we're gonna be at that 75,000 is gonna be about 22,000 low. Now, with that being said, I went through these expenditures. It looks like we have done like about 11,000 dollars worth of transfers out of that, but it did go to other garage supplies, tires for the shore the tires up for the grader. That was like $400 or $500 a tire. So just things like that to get those done. Anyway, that was my only concern. Because I didn't know on these bottom numbers on what you're trying to keep it at, because it's like if you tell me, hey, you need to keep it at 75,000, I can do that.
Right.
But I have to take off, a round of mowing, or I have to take off something has to give. So obviously no decision will be made to that till we get into that.
Well, for me, I think, we know fuel is kind of a fluid thing, so if we need to.
And if it goes down $1 a gallon,
it may look a lot
we
better.
might be on target, because that's gonna be a huge difference.
Are you contracted and set price all year?
We're not, we buy with the WEX car to get pumped. Now, we have an off-road diesel that we're contracted, but the trucks, we run regular through. And basically, we're paying fluctuation. It's like X amount of gallons at a certain price, you're
And then it
basically
goes
paying
up,
pump price.
Right.
Which, like I said, $1 would be all the difference on whether it might come in $25,000 lower.
Does all of yours comes out of your maintenance budget, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Gas and oil,
Yeah.
all
Yes.
of it, okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Anyway, those are just things that I wanna look at, that I had a concern on it. The next thing is the operators. We're about $25,000 off. I talked to JR, he said that we're gonna fund everybody we got currently, so I think that's just a fact of just
I think when we talked, I know I've had a million things going on, but you said something about wanting to at some point maybe move a mechanic.
So I have one mechanic quit, and we'd like to transfer some money when we can on this budget back down to the operators, because we're gonna put them back on the road and just run one mechanic again.
Okay.
So those are just adjustments. I just wanted to, really, I think everything else is all the kind of meat and taters are there. I think it's doable. Group insurance, compared to, it's gonna go up again, because we're gonna miss it, we missed it this year, and I think it's gonna go up again.
That's not your fault or anything, I mean, we can fix that one.
Yeah, you can't hardly.
Fuel, I don't think we're gonna tell you have to live within a certain fuel amount unless it gets really crazy, but if we need to go up, or we see middle of the year, you need to add some to that, I think that would be fine. And we probably need to wait till January to make that move on the salary ordinance for his mechanic to operator, right?
Yeah.
So we'll just remember to get you in here in January, we'll make that change, and that should take care of your operator line also.
Okay.
Sound fair?
Sounds fair. I think that's.
You might
pretty
wanna
much.
look at that, or you guys wanna?
You can have it. I got
Okay.
a bunch of them. You can read it. It kind of prints
It's
off
not
small,
bad.
but, yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
Appreciate it, I'll see you on Thursday. Alright, community corrections, restricted opioid.
That was one that's not advertised, so.
Wasn't they on there last month or something? They had a request last month.
They could
Is that
have.
the same thing?
There's the 75,000, and I had missed the resolution from the, I had to ask Kimberly today, I said, I don't think we got one from the, commissioners, and she said, yeah, we do, so I did not get it on the advertisements, probably in October either.
Nick with EMS, you're up next. How are you, sir?
Splendid, how are you?
Alright.
Long time no see,
I know.
in this capacity anyway. The only reason I came this month was the last weeks of December actually roll to next year's stuff. And we are not only changing rates and stuff, we're completely changing funds on a lot of our stuff now. Since we had to recondition my budget. So I just wanted to see if we could get ahead of that to adopt the salary ordinance for starting that, not now, starting that week
Second week of, or second pay period.
of December. That way it's paid out of the right funds, because if not, I'm gonna go negative this year, like negative this year. So that's the only thing that I was here for.
When are we doing the remainder of the salary ordinance?
We can try to have it ready by December.
And if it's something you don't want to address tonight, that's fine. I was just trying to get ducks in a row, because those positions, because like just say for instance, community paramedicine, those are going full-time through that grant. I have to advertise for those, I have to hire for those, I have to know the pay rates there, and I'm just trying to, I can't wait until after the positions are supposed to be filled to advertise for those. So that's all. If we wait, we wait. If we don't, we don't. That's just why I'm here now.
What's everybody's feeling? I mean, what do you wanna do?
Have we got his salary ordinances done?
Mine's done.
Well, on the front of his, yes, they are. We could copy his.
I'd say we need to go ahead and get them done, so that'd be one less we've got to deal with later if it's already ready. I don't see no sense of holding off.
Is there gonna be any issue with copying these if we?
This is on their form, if you would like to read it.
I mean,
It's not something I made.
right.
I think the only cards over there. I mean, are we gonna have it?
Just so you know, I mean, you've got a copy, but
Yeah.
just so you can verify, that's what I turned in originally with my budget. This is in accordance with the budget that was done and approved last month. Nothing's changed. It's just, I'd like to advertise for these positions, and I can't advertise until I know a pay rate for these positions to get filled for,
Are we good on advertising since we've got it on the agenda, or is this something we need to,
Well, the salary ordinance itself will have
Has
to
to
be
It'll have to be
advertised.
advertised.
so this would just be an approved portion of that larger document, I suppose?
Well, it'd
If
still
we
be
did
part of,
that.
it would become part of the salary ordinance
Right.
document, so you would have to go through the same process,
Process and
advertising,
steps.
So we would
publication.
just be approving his portion of it, and then it would go into effect when we approve the entire.
No, we can't, we'd have to wait until we do, it
Yeah.
becomes part of the salary ordinance,
Right,
so
that's what I'm
yeah.
saying, it'll go into effect when we do the rest of the salary ordinance.
Yeah,
We're
are we
just,
doing a salary ordinance in December?
that's
I
what
think
she's saying.
you're gonna have to, aren't you?
Well, I can't do it today.
Yeah, no, I know what
Say,
you do today.
And I need to know,
Some do it in
nothing
January
then
for some
changed on the
reason.
salary, we just had the same thing as last year, except for this, well, community community
correct.
corrections will
Corrections will
change, and so will
change
health
some.
department.
Health department has some. You'll have that one out of visitors commission that has to change. His guys change some.
I think it might
There's a
be,
little, I mean, there's some changes that have to be put in.
Maybe we need to put one together and then let you guys have a meeting to look at it. And then we can advertise it, that way you can look at it before it
Can you-
goes out.
Well, yeah,
Cause I mean, we're gonna have a December meeting on, is it 10th? On the 10th, you have payroll, what, the week after?
Let me look. So the way that it falls, payroll, we just did the 11th, 25th, 9th, the 23rd is the week that kicks over, so 22nd, starting the 22nd is a brand new year. Cause the 26th payroll is the 8th through the 21st, so that means the first of the next year's payroll starts the 22nd.
Of December?
Mhm.
Okay.
And that'll pay out January 3rd, right?
Correct,
So-
and that's why I've gotta have it before then, but then I have to be able to fill these positions
Before then.
and I can't advertise if I don't know that this is gonna be approved.
And we gotta have 10 days to advertise that, right, for that meeting?
No, I don't know, the ordinance, do you not need two publications? Do they have to have two publications for an ordinance?
well, we advertise it once, at least 10 days prior.
10 days.
Okay, if we can do it one time, then,
I mean, you're gonna have to get that advertised like this week if you wanna do it early December.
but the thing is, we'll have to have it put together before.
So when can you do that? When do you think you can get that done?
Well, what we'll have to do is put it together and then have you approve it.
Okay,
So when can you do that?
can we do that on Thursday?
will you have it by then? I mean, it wouldn't be.
To look at
To
it,
look
to
at it.
look at it, to look
You
at it,
have it by Thursday?
do it by Thursday?
not to vote on it, just,
Okay, we'll do the best we can.
And if not, I
So you're
guess,
saying if we can look at
We
it
could come in
Thursday,
here
and we can do
Friday.
the advertisement and vote on it early in December?
Yes.
yeah. So we vote on it at our December meeting.
so.
Yes, yes, and we could still advertise it and get it back by, oh yeah, definitely get it back by the
Okay,
December meeting,
So
yes.
if we can have it to look
You
at it,
want to table this or, I mean, there's nothing we
Yeah,
can
There's
do
nothing
now.
for us to do.
and then we'll vote on it, that'll still give enough time to
Yeah,
hit the.
yeah, that,
So, I think everybody here is
Yeah.
fully
You'll be fine.
prepared to help you get through this or get this for you, but it's gonna have to be put together by the auditor's office, advertised for 10 days to be able to vote on it, which is gonna take us to early December to be able to do it. Cause even if we were to advertise tomorrow, it's gonna be first part of December by the time the 10 working days is up, right?
No, because we just put one in today that'll go in Friday for next Wednesday, it'll be ready with two publications before the December 4th Commissioners meeting.
we would have enough time if we're able to look at it on Thursday. And then she'll advertise it to vote on it at our December meeting, and then that would give time for it to kick in
still
for
got holes that
that
I'm
first
advertising
pay
for.
period.
He's worried about knowing that the rates are gonna be there so that he can advertise.
And advertise these rates and
Hire.
find people to hire.
Right.
I guess,
But honestly, if you're gonna go ahead and tell him that those rates are gonna be good, as long as that is, voted on before you hire somebody, but that would give you the ability to go ahead and advertise.
yeah, I won't be hiring anybody until, I mean, the position doesn't become full-time until the 22nd.
Yeah,
So even, let's just say, worst or best case scenario, the two main people that do it part-time now, if they choose that they wanna do it full-time, they're gonna know what their rate is, but it's not gonna take effect until the 22nd. My only concern was, this is what I budgeted, my budget for was at this rate. For some reason, it comes back and says, hey, we're not gonna do that rate, we're gonna do a different one. But I've already talked to Lindy, like, hey, this is what it's gonna be, this is the pay. They agree to it, and then 3 weeks later, I'm like, just kidding about that. That was my only concern.
Right.
If I just go ahead and full send to the wind with what I've proposed, with which my budget got approved at, respectfully, there's no reason the rate should change, because that's what my budget was approved at. I can do that and just, fingers crossed. I just, like I
Well,
said, looking for guidance.
Well, we've accepted the budget we've voted and accepted the budget, and these were in on the
And
budget.
this
So,
Is what we talked about.
yeah,
yeah,
because
so what's in your budget will go in the salary ordinance, so.
correct. So the two things that changed here was, obviously, community paramedicine come on board to myself, as well as the health department, because the health department's gonna pay for the full-time employees, and then I'm going to cover the part-time pay. And then the other thing was the difference in pay rates for the part-time employees over the full-time employees, those were the two things that changed.
That changed internally.
Yes, correct, but it was already in the budget that we did, like that, these figures.
What I'm getting, my question is, what's the question? Why can't you continue on doing what you're doing? Have we already okayed it, or?
What he's saying is if he tells people that's what they're gonna make, and we change something.
Well, we're not gonna change it, we're gonna vote on it.
We voted on it within the budget.
So I guess I'll just wait till
That's not gonna change.
I just needed to make sure.
He just
Before I hire
wanted to be
people.
safe before he tells Joe Blow, I'm gonna hire you at this rate. He wants to be safe that that's what's gonna happen. So his, I think, intent was to have his salary ordinance approved, but we can't do that because it's a portion of a much larger document that we have to do all in one together.
Okay, well, anyway, me personally, I guess I voted for it,
Right.
it's done,
Okay,
I mean.
so I
my
guess,
opinion.
attorney question, I know you're not my attorney, but attorney question. Can I advertise based off these rates?
I can't give you legal advice. Sorry. I'm not your attorney.
I mean,
I mean, you work with politicians. I mean, if the rate for some
Would
reason
you,
doesn't go through, you
Mr.
say
President,
sorry.
would you have a problem with me advertising at these rates for 2025?
I would not, because my vote will be to approve what we approved in your budget for you.
Can he say that? Okay, I'm gonna just,
There's a little thing called First Amendment. You can say whatever you want.
alright,
But I can't,
we'll just risk it for the biscuit.
we
I guess,
can't
and then I
officially
will,
tell
you're
you
right,
it's
there's
done.
unofficial.
I agree with the sentiment that your budget was approved with, if that's the rate of pay your budget was approved of, that you're budgeted. Unless anything catastrophic happens and the salary, I mean, my advice would be for them to sign the salary ordinance.
Okay.
Unless something catastrophic happens, like we go bankrupt or something, something like that, which I don't see that happening.
Oh, yeah. One more piece of paper.
That would be you anyway.
That's
No.
what I'll say.
Here's what, our cash ledger's at, just so you guys know. There you go. Tis all. That's as of today.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good night.
Yeah. Next up on the agenda is the contract renewal for our attorney. I know we talked about it a little bit earlier in conversation, but does everybody want to table that? Do you want to vote on it? What's the feeling of the board? It does expire December 31.
I'd be all right, go ahead and vote for it.
Same with me, I just said vote on it, be done with it.
So do you guys wanna, nothing changes in it, it was sent
No, there's nothing
out,
changed.
everything stays the same, so, I mean, you wanna make a motion?
Make a motion, go ahead and pass it.
I'll second it.
Jonathan White's made a motion to accept the contract for attorney services for 2025. Well, a second from John Collins. Any questions or comments from council members? Nope. All in favor of such?
Thank you,
Any opposed? 7-0.
thank you.
Next up is the building commissioner line item transfer, and I think this is something we talked about at budgeting time also with Ben Petty. The building commissioner is requesting to move budget balances for the following: his travel expenses account, which he had some money in, to wearing apparel and uniforms, and then dues and subscriptions. He had 700 in the travel account and 1,000 in the dues and subscriptions, and Ben is asking to purchase some winter clothing since he's out in the winter time, to move these to wearing and apparel. It would be on resolution 2024-11, and the Scott County Building Commissioner requesting funds be transferred within his budget to cover $700 from travel expenses to wearing and apparel, 1,000 to dues and subscriptions to wearing and apparel. I would entertain a motion to accept.
I'll make that motion.
John Miller with the
It's just wire
motion.
transfer.
Yes.
I'll second it.
And a second by John Collins. Any questions or comments from council members? All in favor? Any opposed? 7-0 on that. And then there's a general fund additional next.
We have 3 ordinances there. Which one do you wanna do first? 62, it was advertised.
This one has advertised as an ordinance for an additional appropriation, ordinance number 2024-62, and it is in the amount of $38,000 from the general fund to the animal shelter line item.
Is it more prescriptive than that? I mean, what is it?
What is the issue with the animal shelter?
Okay, this is something that we talked about in 2023, when we were doing the budget. They had used their ARPA funds to do some remodeling, I guess, at the shelter. I don't know if they've made it bigger, but Jan Hardy did tell me at that time that the price would go up, our portion of the cost would go up, but she didn't have a number then. And then this year, she sent that over because it has gone up. We needed an
So
additional.
we signed a new contract through the commissioners for,
There's not been a new contract on it that I'm aware of.
no,
Did they build a new one down there?
so how
I
does
don't
the
know if
price
they
go
built
up
a
on
new one or if they
contract?
remodeled what they had, I'm not
I don't know, I've
sure.
never seen the
I know there
contract, so
were
I don't know what the
upgrades.
service is.
I guess my question is, how do they increase the price without changing a contract with our commissioners? 'Cause
Sometimes the
Well,
contracts
it would
say
have to
Our
like
contract
half of the
says
budgeted,
50%.
or
It's 50% of the cost,
of the
so.
cost.
50% of the net cost or the gross cost. This has been an issue with animal shelters that are shared. Net cost, gross cost, do we
All I
know?
know is that what I've always
50%
heard
with
is
us and the city.
the county pays 50%, Scottsburg does 25%, but I think theirs is through work, and then Austin's supposed to contribute 25%. So,
We pay the biggest portion and have this biggest area. Alright, so I guess the price is going up. Is the reason for it.
What's the total on that contract now, do you know?
Well, have they given us their budget, or have they given us our budget? Like, are we paying after they, adoption fees are taken out, or any grants they
I have
get, or
no
we don't
idea, I
know?
haven't seen that.
I've never seen a contract.
I've never seen it, and I don't think we've ever seen it. We've never seen a contract with the animal shelter.
You don't have a copy of the
I
contract?
think we had a
Greg,
contract,
you-
cause I think we got
Hey
it.
Greg,
I had to have
are you
Jan send
familiar
it
with this one
over.
at all? The contract
I
on
can
this?
ask her to send it over
We've
to
talked
you.
about it's been brought up several months ago, but I've not seen it.
Do you know what the total amount is now?
I'm sorry,
Do you know what the total amount we're paying them is now?
I don't.
It's $125,000.
Well, I'm just wondering if the contract has something like, 50%, we'll pay 50% of the budgeted, 50% of the net. How do we know that? Is there a mechanism in there for us to do we get their budget every year and we are part of that conversation?
I think it's.
Or they just send us a number and
I
boom,
think
that's
they
it?
send us a number.
I think it's always been 50%, talking to an ex-council person here. So, and I think that's for total, for all costs, operations costs 50%. But again, we've not seen a contract, there's been nothing coming to us.
Can we? Well,
So is this for 25?
No, that's for
This-
24, that's to
24.
finish out
that's
this
to
year.
finish it, this is to finish up the.
And like I said, she told me back in 23 that would go up, but she just didn't know, she said, I just want you to be prepared, but she didn't have numbers. So,
Can we table it until
What is?
we
what
find out a
is
little bit more information? I mean,
Operating funds,
Do what?
That's what we don't know.
is this,
That's what we don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know.
The thought, I guess, is that this is 50% of the total operating cost of the animal shelter, but I can't confirm that. That's, believe what it is. Is there a way to get a copy of that
I
contract?
think, yeah, I think I've got one from last year. I'll see if she can send it over, but I don't know if the one I have is signed,
Okay.
so.
So what's the council wanna do? We wanna table this to the December meeting?
I think
Is
we
that what
should
you were
table it
saying?
till we got more concrete evidence on what
I
it
know we
is.
table it.
So John Collins made a motion to table the ordinance 2024-62 for 38,000. Jonathan White makes a second. Any questions or comments from council? All in favor of tabling? Any opposed? 7-0, we'll table that.
What do you want me to do on, just leave it?
Yeah, just, yeah.
Make sure it doesn't stay in that file for the
Because
time.
it'll
so.
sign it. But that would make that easy.
Cause the rest of these are for animal shelter too, right?
No.
Oh,
The next one I have in order, I think is, exam of records.
oh, gotcha. And that's 63.
And this one will be ordinance 2024-63, ordinance for an additional appropriation from the general fund to exam of records. $31,000 is the request. What is exam of records?
That's your state board of accounts.
Oh boy. Yeah, these are the 2 audits we have this year, or the one?
That goes into a pile, and honestly, we've gotta pay this now, but we pay for hours, we pay for the schools, but then they reimburse us. And there was also one this year for Stucker Fork. So I don't know how much is in there, what's been reimbursed, but what it is, that's what we've gotta pay, and then we will collect back during settlement a lot of times from either the school or Stucker Fork or whoever, or if it's been a township or something like that.
Gotcha.
So that 31,000 is probably not just to any one, it probably could be covering anything.
Gotcha. So this is kind of moving money to an account per se, and then several people draw out of it for state board of accounts for their audits. So I would entertain a motion to accept the $31,000.
I'll make a motion.
Linda Eubanks motion on the floor to accept for exam of records, 31,000.
My second.
John Miller with a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Any opposed? 7-0 on that.
Okay, the next one is our tax sale contract. That went up this year because we had 2 sales basically with the certificate sale in the spring.
And does this work the same way? It's like a pool of money we pay that tax sale
That's
fee out of?
that's what we pay SRI out of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who comes and does the tax sale?
SRI does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alright, so on ordinance 2024-64, it's an ordinance for an additional appropriation from the general fund to the tax sale contract for the company comes and does the tax sales in the amount of $29,000. I would entertain a motion to accept the $29,000.
I'll make a motion.
Linda Eubanks with a motion, John Collins with a second on that. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Any opposed? No, 7-0 on that one. That takes care of those, and then,
I have one for the, I don't know where these are all at. There's a cemetery fund, and that's for fuel and supplies, and that'll, I'll go back to Kevin here to pay for the mowing fuel.
Where's it at on the, it's not on the agenda.
It was advertised, but
Yeah,
I
it
don't
was
see.
advertised.
But I
know
don't
if I
see it
put
on the
online
agenda.
or not, so.
I guess I need a motion to amend the agenda to accept a cemetery fund reimbursement. If anyone is so inclined.
I'll make the motion.
John Collins makes a motion to amend the agenda. Second from John Miller to add a cemetery fund appropriation. All in favor of amending this? Any opposed? 7-0 on the amendment. The ordinance 2024-65 is an ordinance for an additional appropriation, and it is from the cemetery fund for reimbursement of fuel and supplies in a total of $1,100. Is that fund good?
Yeah,
I know, okay. So
I'll make a motion.
John Miller with the motion to accept the ordinance. Anybody with a second? John, or Diane has a second on that one, sorry. Any questions or comments regarding the cemetery fund? All in favor of the $1,100?
All in favor, I'm sorry.
Any opposed? White, what was you on that one? You good with that? Alright, 7-0 on that, sorry about that. Sorry, I just didn't see you.
We don't.
Huh?
We don't.
Done. And then there's one general fund professional services for Dr. Hicks.
Jennifer, you had advertised 25,000, and this was just 5,000, is that correct?
oh, you know what, I did not put an ordinance in there, cause I figured you're gonna need more for your, the Baker Tilly. I have not got an ordinance prepared on that.
Do we have an outstanding bill for them?
Yeah, I think we've got about 8,000 so far.
Well,
Shouldn't
you
be a
advertised
whole lot.
personal service at 5,000 and then other charges.
Nick,
I saw that. He was
So we
saying,
owe him $7,500 for half of the year, 15,000 a year total is what we pay for medical direction for the EMS and fire departments in the county.
So 5,000's not gonna cover
So that's 7,500.
I think the 5,000 was just to make up the difference, Nick.
Okay.
I think there was some in there, yeah, I believe that, cause I think that's what Mandy came to me and said there was a shortage on.
Okay.
it. Well, you advertised at 5,000 under personal services, do you want me to just move that up there on the ordinance? And put the 20,000 for Baker Tilly in the ordinance?
Can I just do a line item
Well-
transfer and I'll pay for it?
Or else we can just do this later.
No.
I mean,
no, he,
I
it's up to the
have money
council.
that we didn't spend
Yeah.
on the blood and I'm just,
No, I've got too much going on. The line item transfer, we'd still have to do a resolution, we just wouldn't have to advertise.
okay.
So we'll just do a
You want
so
to
he
do
wants to
December?
do a resolution to transfer the
Professional
remainder.
Services at 3,000.
She's got it 5.
No.
3,000
line.
series.
Oh, okay,
it should be, yes.
cause she's taking out the general
No.
I'll
fund.
have
saying
money
like
to
a
transfer
series.
Yeah, yeah.
within the 3,000,
So
so
we
it'll
can
be fine.
transfer.
Okay, and then we'll have to,
I just wanna get him paid.
Would he not be in the 3,000 series, like be in services?
Should be, right, for professional services,
Mhm.
I would think. Cause contractual services and all that is 3,000.
so
Yeah,
what
that's-
do we need to do?
I had him there, and then I had advertised the extra 20. I've got that one,
you have advertised the extra 20, we can mark this out and just do 20 for the Baker Tilly.
if you want to do that, that'd be fine with me.
What was the total that we're paying Dr. Hicks then? 5,000?
15,000 for the year.
15,000 for the year, but what do we gotta come up with the short?
7,500 is what we owe him for the rest of the year.
Okay.
They were doing 5,000 to make up the difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, where we had some additional money appropriated to EMS from EMS this year, I had money left over.
That's gonna be for Baker
Instead of the
Tilly.
county paying for it, I'm paying for it next year anyway, so I'll just pay for this year and then start next year. I just need to do
I
one.
just didn't- I
But if
didn't
it's a
understand
3,000
that.
series, I have money in a 3,000 series, so I won't need to do anything.
So we need to create a line for you?
I already have professional services and contractual services.
So if that don't work, let me know, we'll fix it, I guess.
You just don't have any $7,500 obligation.
Alright, thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
So then we're gonna change from the Dr. Hicks to Baker Tilly
It was advertised like that.
on the agenda. We'll use ordinance 2024-66 for, the 1,000 fund, general fund in professional services under our budget of the council for Baker Tilly. And it would be an appropriation of $20,000, which I don't think should be anywhere near that, but
Yeah.
I mean,
All I
if
know
you're
is what I've seen and
eight.
what last year.
we didn't hardly use them at all this year on too much. Couple of phone calls, one visit from Jason, I think, so. That should cover it through the end of the year. I would entertain a motion to accept the ordinance for additional appropriation going to Baker Tilly.
I'll make a motion.
Lindy with a motion, John Collins with a second for a total of $20,000. Any questions or comments from council members? All in favor? Any opposed? 7-0 on that. The RDC additional appropriation for professional services.
I think I'm here for 20,000 there.
The regional development.
That's gonna be 67.
You're fine. So this is out of the, it's on ordinance 2024-67, and it would be out of the TIF fund, the fund 4,500 for professional services. What's that for, Johnny? Do
You
you know?
advertised for 50,000.
It's for regional development, is it for?
Oh, did they just need less?
That'd be a better question for them.
It would
Craig,
be better if
what's
we
it
went
for?
up to the 55,
What's it
cause I
for?
know we've got more
Just to
bills
pay
coming
Baker
in.
Tilly?
No, what's your all's for, out of regional development, is that for Baker Tilly services, or?
Yeah, that,
One Southern Indiana, there's some invoices like that.
for one Southern Indiana, yeah, Baker Tilly.
There's a little bit there for the TIF, help,
We voted on something to pay him at the redevelopment meeting.
yeah.
Right.
We voted to pay him
We
out
have
of our.
invoices through Baker Tilly,
Right.
is that what's coming? through
That's
for
some,
approval?
and we did, and I hate to say I made the ordinance for the 20, I left it for the one that we had in October. We did add the number up to 55, because I forget I know there was one from One Southern that I think was around 15,000. I think there was 11,000 the other day in Baker Tilly bills. And right off the top of my head, I'm not
I
thinking
thought we
anything
paid
else.
them through redevelopment.
Yes,
That's,
We paid some of them through redevelopment.
well, that's what that is,
This
that's
is
going to
the TIF.
redevelopment for your professional
Okay,
services.
I get it.
So it would come out of the TIF fund,
Yes.
which ultimately redevelopment's over, going into the line item of professional services for 20,000. Are you saying 20,000 isn't gonna cover it?
If you wanted to cut it up to the 55 that I've advertised, that would be more. And here's the deal, if it didn't happen, it'll go back, but we do have bills coming. If not, we'll be back here in
She
December.
Good with
She
that.
advertised the 55.
So it's advertised at 55,000, somehow we got on here at 20, so do you wanna go to
Stay at
55?
20, keep it at 20, cause I'm sure one of them was like 12 something, and the other was 5 something.
But you've got more bills than
But we
that,
have-
cause you've got like a
You said you had-
We have
$15,000 one
invoices
from,
coming in.
Okay. Like I said, I'd say leave it at 20.
Alright. You good with that?
I guess I'm confused because we're talking about
You're
one
not the
Southern
only one.
Indiana or Baker Tilly.
all of them. They need to come out of that professional services line, and we've got bills sitting there that there's not enough money in that line to cover. So that's why we're
It's only
advertising.
gonna go towards professional services, and if it's
Mhm.
less than the 55,000, then it stays in the TIF. So I would suggest going up to the 55 to make sure all of the bills are paid and covered by the end of the year. And then whatever's left over, if it doesn't hit the 55, it stays in TIF. It's not gonna go anywhere.
I thought you said 5,500.
No, 55,000.
50,000.
Yes, I agree. with that.
Yes.
That's fine.
You good with that?
You understand what
I
I'm saying?
thought our bills were paid through development.
But, and that, it is redevelopment, but it comes out of TIF, it comes out of that line 4,500 to go into redevelopment, professional services, and that's where we pay it out of.
Okay.
So that's what.
Yeah, we gotta move it from TIF to redevelopment into that line.
So we're gonna change this to $55,000, which is what was advertised. And then I would entertain a motion to accept ordinance
I'll make that
2024-67.
I'll make that motion.
John Miller with that, John Collins with the second. Any questions or comments on that ordinance? All in favor? Any opposed? 7-0. It's so messed up. All right. Sheriff, you're up. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing excellent.
All right.
This is the same thing I
I don't
have,
know.
right, Jim?
Oh, okay, yes.
Is this one for everybody, a packet
Uh-huh.
for everyone? All right,
Did you have a packet from the sheriff?
pass them on.
Do you have yours?
We got no trees here.
Cutting down some trees.
Which ones did you say you got?
Huh. Okay, I've got two here. Well, actually, I've got about four.
Okay.
The first one, and Jerry may not be aware of this one, it's out of the 1,000 general fund, it's for the balance of the sheriff's pension. It's what's not covered by the riverboat share
The
that we need to cover, yeah, that's the 48,208.
Okay,
And that's just something we have to do every year.
okay.
Where you at with that, Jennifer? I'm sorry.
Okay, that's
Is it on
the,
this paper you're reading here?
I'm looking at the
no, it's not on
advertisement.
that one, it will not be on that
Oh,
one,
no, you just-
yeah.
It's not in this packet.
I'm just trying
It is
to
not in
make
that
sure we
packet.
have.
Yeah, that one is just one that we knew beforehand that we were gonna have to have, because it's
What?
the sheriff's
Well,
pension.
there's like 10 things advertised. What else is advertised? What else are we
Well-
actually doing?
We're gonna do the, lit special purpose jail salaries,
Uh-huh,
and, the number we've come up with that we're gonna need to get us to the end of the year is $300,286. $300,286. I
okay,
have advertised $404,948.
right. I'm just
Are we
going through my
ready for this one
advertisement.
yet, or are you gonna do the sheriff, do you wanna do the sheriff's pension first? Because what we've got the, lit special purpose jail salaries, we got the general fund, sheriff deputy salaries, and then we've got lit special purpose jail building and repair that I advertised 50,000 in, but we could also put the 20,000 in there for the tilt kettle.
Yeah, cause that's all messed up. These numbers is all messed up from what the
That's what Teresa and I
advertisement
worked
is
on.
one I'm looking at.
As long as they're under the advertisement,
It
then we're
is,
fine.
it's way, yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
then
saying,
we're
but,
fine.
cause I got this,
That's what I was trying to determine is what
is
it
that what you're
is.
working off of? Cause that's what we submitted to
actually
you, that's the only
doing.
reason why I'm saying it's
Oh,
all
yeah,
different.
okay, that's what Teresa and I have been working on this week,
Oh, okay,
so the transfers and things like that.
okay, cause
So-
I know there was,
I guess let's take it a step at a time here. First up would be the general
Here,
fund
she's got it.
to the
That's what-
balance of the sheriff pension, which I don't think the
This, we
sheriff
don't
is
have
even
that, we
aware
don't
of.
have that, we just don't have.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, that's fine.
So it's a ordinance 2024-68, and I do know this is a common thing, because on the sheriff pension, we get money from the riverboat fees, and then almost every year we add to that because it doesn't cover it.
you have to match it.
Yeah, so, it's not a match, it's like 200 and something out of riverboat.
Pretty close to match.
So
Yeah.
$48,208 is what would come from general fund to that sheriff pension to shore that up. So I would entertain a motion to accept
I'll make
ordinance.
that motion.
I'll second it.
John Miller with the motion, John Collins with the second on ordinance 2024-68 for the amount of $48,208. Any questions or comments from council on that
What was
one?
that total gonna be around?
$48,208. 48208.
And this is for,
Riverboat, the pension, yes, from general fund to sheriff pension, 68. All in favor of that move? Any opposed? 7-0 on that one, Jennifer.
That's one.
All right, that's out of the way.
And then the first one should be the salaries. I lost my paper again.
So we're not doing the jail institutional supplies 20,000?
We can, if you wanna do that one next.
No, I'm just asking which ones of the ones advertised are we actually gonna be looking at?
We're gonna be looking at that one.
Okay,
We're gonna be looking at the special purpose jail salaries and the general fund sheriff deputy salaries.
and then so the tires and supplies,
No.
the parts and tires, no, the, building repair, jail, repair maintenance?
That will be the one,
The drink.
I've advertised 50, but I said we could put the 20 in there, use that for the tilt kettle.
Okay, so the intercom systems, I know,
That one, we're still talking about ARPA,
Yes,
correct?
yeah.
okay.
I think that one was only advertised in ARPA, was it? Or did I advertise it?
was-
No.
ARPA, yeah,
Okay.
so we're not talking about any of the ARPA?
No,
Okay,
I figured we better wait till after tomorrow
Okay.
night on that one, or
Is there-
Thursday night.
Is there any other bills or anything that we need to?
you also advertised
All
it
the
under
bills,
Here's. I'm
special
sorry.
purpose.
you go right ahead.
No,
You already said-
here, I can tell you this, I know this much about it, okay, cause I know Jennifer, they was over here working.
Mhm.
They told me as of today, the sheriff's office is in the black. Okay, now, we've got, you know what I'm saying, some, pays that's gonna come out of our salary, because we lost 3 people, because of the underpay that they get, they went to higher paying jobs, so we had to fill those schedules, so that's where we need money is to, for a pay line for our, full-time, deputies, for overtime, and also for part-time to cover those shifts. Now, the jail, that was the monies that's all, construction costs and some, salaries that comes out of that from the lit special purpose. That is what that fund is for. That's the only thing that fund can be used for is,
Gotcha, okay.
is that kind of stuff. That's where it should have been coming out. That's why we tried to have the meetings. So we was trying to get that money out of there. Should have been done months ago. We just got a bill from Walgreens today telling us that they're not gonna extend us any more credit. Elevator 1 said they're getting ready to sue us because we haven't paid the bill there.
That's what's coming out of it. right?
It should have come out of it, yes, absolutely.
That's what I just.
Yes,
heard, but I
yes,
just wanna make
yes,
sure we
yes,
take
yes.
care of
That should have came out of it a long time ago.
I know, that just making sure we're gonna take care of it tonight, that's what.
Yes.
Not mine.
Yeah, if that's what Jennifer's got, because I've got a different paper here.
Okay, well, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
Okay,
that's why I asked her what she had.
thank you, I just wanted to clear, I mean, get that out too.
Yeah.
So I just wanna make sure I'm on the same page, so, thank you, sir.
So what we talked about, and what you're saying, you're in the black, yes. We made, we were able to make,
The transfers that we needed to make.
well, we made
months
same
ago.
series transfers, and we also made, claim adjustments. I could not think of that word all of a sudden. Claim adjustments that went, like if something could be paid in something, maybe if it was in public safety and it could be paid in Department of Corrections or something, that's what we did. Man, we got everything, so your location budgets, and I hate to say I've lost my piece of paper here, but your location budgets, and it'll say there, are in the black except for, I think your 22,000 still negative in special, or public safety.
Public
Is it
safety.
22,000 in public safety or is it special purpose? There's one of them that's negative.
So I guess,
Special purpose.
Okay,
What?
special
Or public
purpose.
public safety
jail.
center.
Here's gonna be
Public
the
safety
issue
jail.
too is this, because you guys did not work with Jennifer on the numbers, the only thing you have was Baker Tilly's numbers, and they didn't have the special funds that we had to pay bills that we've been paying bills out of. So the numbers are all screwed up, you know what I'm saying?
I agree with that part,
So,
but looking at the location budget from like 11-2, it was $542,490 negative. So how did we shore up $500,000 without ever anything from this council?
we had it with our funds that we had and it's not,
That's not listed on
Document.
there.
what's those called? Amy, they got discretionary funds, yes, they were paid with discretionary funds, which we've done in the past, we always have. That's why I tried to tell you guys, because you didn't listen to me for, and then Jennifer, they went and did the Baker Tilly stuff, and she didn't know either.
I did
That,
not
did
know.
you see, we owed was like $900,000.
That's what we were
And
told.
that was
Well,
my
that
number,
wasn't
I
true,
did
and I
tell
told
us
you
that
that
was my
wasn't
number.
true. That's
that
what
I
I'm
messed
trying
up.
to say. I told you that was not true.
Okay.
So,
Jennifer, was the, SRO money that's reimbursed, has that been transferred over yet?
Yes, that was a chunk of it that.
how
got
much
moved.
more is there? How many more payments we got? 3? You said you received 1?
We still have 2 more to
2
come
more
in.
to come in,
Mhm,
about
yes.
56,000 apiece.
I don't think they'll be quite that, let's guess around 50.
So about 100,000 more dollars.
Yeah,
will
probably
come
should be
in
about
for-
100,000
That goes into the salary. So again,
So-
I'm in the black, okay? Nowhere near $900,000, so.
Right, and like I said, what I did there is, Amy, Mandy and I
Yeah,
sat
you
down,
did what
and
you're
we
supposed
just,
to
what
do.
we thought, and we took it, cause we were through the end of September, we took what we'd spent, we divided it by 9, we times it by 3, which,
Yes.
that was bills that you might not need again or whatever, so.
Yeah.
That was my
It was-
mistake,
you-
I'll say
No,
that.
it wasn't a
But-
mistake. You did what you're supposed to do, but you didn't have all the correct information.
That's right, I did
So
not know.
that's the issue, so.
So all of the transfers that were done were in like the same series stuff?
They're
is
either
what
the
you're
same
saying?
series, or it's been a claim adjustment that, like, institutional supplies, we were able to move that into the DOC line, DOC reimbursement, because you can pay that, stuff from there,
Stuff
so you
from
can move things back and forth like that.
On them funds that you just talked about, what is what you get money every year for them kind of funds, or where's that funds come from? 'Cause I don't-
It's different grants and stuff we apply for, yeah, different things we do. Like firearms licensing, you know what I'm saying, stuff like, it's just, there's a whole list of them. You know what I'm saying?
That's something you got year after year.
Oh, yeah, that's how we paid our bills, that's what I kept trying to tell you, that's what I knew I was not like that, yeah.
It's good to learn things.
Yeah, absolutely, you gotta ask them to learn them, and when somebody's trying to tell you, you gotta take the advice to listen.
I have a question.
Alright,
I have a question.
shoot.
When the commissioners voted out the needle exchange, and we lost all that grant money, and the county had to start paying, because by state law, we have to provide their medication and things. We were putting $25,000 a month in an account for those CVS bills or Walgreens bills or whatever they were, for them to be paid out of, and for also when they had to be transported to the hospital because we have to provide care. Did we stop doing that?
So that's, in the budget, that's 2 different line items. There's a hospitalization, line item, and there's a HIV line item that gets $110,000 a year funded into that.
But if you go back to the meetings, and you go back to those notes, we were putting $25,000 a month in a special account just for that, because we could not pay for that.
There was $1 million actually
It was $1
originally,
million in the
and it was gonna be
first
drawed off of it as you needed.
Yes, there was $1 million in that, and we were putting the first few months, we put $25,000. Why are we not doing that?
Do you know anything about an account with $1 million in it?
No,
I'm sorry.
There's no $1 million.
kinda wish I did, but
I was
no.
just asking, that was what was put in there.
But if you go back, but we were putting 25,000, we did in January and February, and
Right.
I believe March. And
You're
then
right.
of course Tiffany got sick
We
and
kept having to pull the money out. We kept having to pull the monies that were being appropriated as we needed it. That's what it's
But
supposed to be
what
said.
I'm saying is, we wouldn't be in this predicament with those bills if that was a continuation of what we were doing.
Yeah, and I don't know if they put that money back in the budget after it was done that way or what, so that's something they'll have to answer, because we don't know, you know what I'm saying?
Are you talking about the
I don't
HIV line?
Yeah.
Huh?
Are you talking about the HIV line?
So the last check of that,
$25,000, if you go back to the meeting notes, you'll see it.
We have money in an HIV line.
so there was $110,000 appropriated in this year's budget
So
for
are
that.
the CVS
and
bills
the
not
sheriff
being
still
paid
has-
with that money?
Hold on.
We don't pay the bills, I don't know.
The sheriff still has $25,261.35 in it as of the last time. I looked
Cause
at
that's
it.
what, I understood and I voted on, that was,
we
that
put-
money was to pay for
That's
that.
We
exactly.
put $1
what I'm
million,
talking about. All that
there's $1
money's
million
in there.
dollars.
Absolutely, that's
No,
what I
I'm
tried
not,
to tell
I'm
you.
just
There's $1
saying.
million there, we put $100,000, or I don't know if there's $1 million, but there's money set aside for that line, and if we have $100,000 in there, if the bills go over $100,000, then he would come back and say, hey, there's bills
Right.
we need to appropriate.
Right.
That's what we did.
And I will say, that's not one line that's ever, to
Right.
my knowledge,
So
been.
It is
apparently
too,
bills are
because we
being
got a
paid.
kickback, it says we owe $8,607.
Well,
According to
then
this
I don't know
budget.
where
And I
that's
think
coming
there's-
from. Nothing's ever come in front of us. Nobody's ever come in front of us and say, hey, more money needs to put in that line. So if you're at
Well, we
that
tried to, though,
100,000.
that's what I'm saying. We tried to several months in a row to have meetings, to have monies transferred, and you guys didn't have the meetings, that's what I'm
Specifically
trying
for
to say.
HIV?
There's only
For
been
a
one.
bunch of different.
There's only been one
There's
that
only
wasn't a
been-
meeting, and that was in
We
October, it
asked
was a
her,
lack
I
of.
asked you in the,
Okay.
when we
We're
had the
not
budget
gonna,
hearings
we're not
to
gonna
have a
argue, but
meeting.
that's what that
And you
money is
said not
for,
to worry about
so.
it, basically, that we
if
just have a
it's-
meeting on the
If
sixth
the
or something like
CVS
that.
line, or the CVS bills have not been paid,
They have been,
okay.
but they
so
didn't go
then-
out until Friday.
Okay,
So, I
so that's a wash then, we can move on.
Hold on one second, cause there's a huge misconception that this board pays bills, and we don't. Our job here in the county is to appropriate budgets or set budgets, which then if the sheriff chooses to buy this water bottle and he has it in a line item, he buys it, sends a claim to them, they take care of it. If he sends a claim and doesn't have the money to buy this, then it would come for an additional appropriation, then the water bottle would be purchased. We all agree on that. So, to say that the council pays or doesn't pay bills is not true.
You
That's,
appropriate the money for those bills to be paid.
yeah, that's a whole nother department that is not this one.
Well, it
So-
is because actually you guys are the ones that appropriate the money. I paid for it for the ones I had, but like now I had to come back. You see what I'm saying? That's why I'm trying to tell you, those numbers was messed up on that paper. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. So they got it straightened up, I think now. But I'm telling you right now, it's nowhere near.
Is there money in the HIV line?
Yes.
Okay, then there's no reason that, number
Always
one, you
has
should have
been.
had to come in front of us, cause there's money in there. So, there was a miscommunication then apparently between the invoices or the claims that went to Jennifer and Mandy. They're paid now. There's money in there, they're in the positive.
Okay,
So,
right. Okay.
so I don't know what we're still
I
talking.
mean, yeah, as far as HIV, it's
Well, I
not,
was just
What's
asking
going
because
on
there
is,
was,
because we thought the fund itself was going negative because of the overtime, or not overtime, but the salary lines, and we didn't think we had enough here, and that's why.
Okay,
Because
so
of-
they were not getting paid because there was no money there, there was getting paid because of other lines. So the HIV line is shored up, there's money in it,
yeah.
Okay,
bills are paid. What's next on your agenda?
okay, how about, well, you guys has got the agenda, you guys is the ones that's
Well, all
got
it
the things,
says
I
is-
submitted it, you know
All
what
it
I'm saying?
says
So-
is sheriff. That's all I got.
Yeah,
So-
we just have sheriff, so.
So, what's next, Jennifer?
Okay, the next one, let's just go ahead and do the lit special purpose jail salaries.
Yes.
And this, hold on here just a minute, we're asking 300,286. And that, when you, we've got 672,000. Right now, our cash balance stands at $780,714. And then we're gonna get one more payment of the $106,995, so that gives you $887,710. We'll have a bond payment due in January, that's $215,500. So when you take that away, it's gonna leave you $672,210. And we're asking 300 out of that.
And that was sure up to the end of the year on that, right?
Jennifer, I guess my question on this is, in April, at the advice of your office, we transferred from 1170 being the lit public safety to 1114 being the lit special purpose, $403,082.52. So if we do another 300, we're talking $700,000 that we've spent.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
So this is from you,
Because I
right?
thought, did
These are
you
the
just say,
appropriations.
yes,
At the advice of your office,
what that was
this was
for?
transferred from public safety to lit for jailer operators,
The special purpose?
times 16. Yes, I'm sorry.
And that's what I was thinking. We went, the jailers were paid out of public safety.
Correct.
And we knew we were kind of short in that, and that was when we had a problem with the 3 vehicles that were purchased in 2023, and no money was appropriated to pay the payment in April of I think it was March or April of 2024. And that's when Deandra found out. She said, well, you know, we could move the jailer's salary into special purpose, And then that will free up money in public safety to pay, and we paid almost 122,000, I think it was, to pay for those 3 vehicles, and we paid them off at that time. So that's when we did that.
So
So we've gone
the
to
expenditure
4.
total in that line in lit special is $588,908.17 according to this location budget. You add another 300,000 to that, we're talking $888,000 we've spent this year and 16 people.
Well, it says as of November the 6th that you had $848,000 in it.
Where'd that
That's,
come from?
that's from the Gateway, that's the official numbers.
Where's those numbers? And that's,
I'm not sure.
I guess where I have to agree with the sheriff that every time we look at numbers, they're completely different.
Yeah, we have
And
3
that's
different numbers every time we look at something.
drastically frustrating because part of your job and your elected duty is being the chief financial officer of the county that we rely on heavily for numbers, but these are all over the place. And I mean, if we're gonna we're talking $888,000 in 16 people, that's a pretty good chunk of money.
Well, I'm not sure, I'm gonna have to look at the numbers you're looking at. Because what I'm looking at here is I know what we did with those, how that got there.
Well, this is your location budget you handed out to all of us tonight, right? With the
Yes, if it should have-
114 at the
yeah.
top. So if you go to under lit special purpose, the second line is jailer operators times 16. Expenditure total is $588,908. Then if you do a quick math of adding 300,000 more to that, you're well over 800.
Is there deposits that's been made since then, since that transfer that would have made it? I don't know.
Well, it doesn't matter how the money get there, what it's saying is that.
Oh, I know what you're
500,
saying,
yeah.
it was
So
earlier
it
supposed to
doesn't
be
matter,
gone,
it
but it's
doesn't
not
matter
shown.
how the money, what money went in there, we're just saying 500,000's been spent, we're putting another 300 plus, now we're talking 800,000 for
We
16
were also
people.
paying full-time, part-time, and we had to put the jail commander in there because the misdemeanor fund became 0.
Yes.
Well, his has its
So
own
we-
This
line up
has its
here.
own line item,
I
we're
know, it
talking
became
just the
0.
16.
It became 0.
It still
That's
has-
in there as well.
But it still has 7,400 in it right now.
It was him and the part-time and the full-time, they had us move them all into that one line. That's his at the time, they got a deposit,
Just to clarify, they being,
Deandra.
Yeah, my office.
okay. So I guess, I mean, what's the purpose of having all these line items if we're not staying within them, if we're just gonna group people together?
Well, and I'll have to say, I'm gonna have to research that more and see. I do know why the 403 was moved.
Right, we remember
yes.
that,
But
that's not what we're,
Yeah, I mean, I remember it back in April, cause we were paying for those trucks,
right,
but even at the paper you gave us tonight, we spent 588, asking to put another 300 in it.
I would have to look at that further.
Alright,
well, I guess I moved the table
this ordinance,
the
We gotta have the money anyway, if we don't use it, we can give it back. If that's the case, correct?
Right.
Well, my question, I wanna ask this, you all put the money in there for 16 jail officers, there's no way you're short. They get paid, you all set
well, that,
the thing, that's fine.
again, we don't pay it, so we don't know, we don't know how it
But
gets.
the money should be there, there shouldn't be no question.
Whatever, right, whatever we budgeted, if you guys stayed within that budget, then it should be there. If other stuff is paid out of that line item, which we don't control,
Right.
we're just going off of what they give us, and if it shows negative, then we're saying, hey, what's going on? So we don't control that, we don't
Right, no, I
control that,
understand
yeah. And
But
so when we have 3 different numbers, it makes it very hard for anybody to make make a decision.
and to
or-
be transparent with the community and say this is what we're doing, I mean, I don't know how you keep anything straight when every time you look at it,
I
it's a
mean, I don't
different
know,
number.
I don't know how to make a decision if we have 3 different sets of numbers.
And that-
We're looking at
I-
Gateway, if we're going off of what she gives us,
And I
And
go
then
off
it's-
what she's giving
and
us
then it's
too.
different.
We've been working together.
Right, but
That's the issue,
But what
is
you
we've been
got,
working
but what you
together.
have in Gateway, right, is
Well, I don't
different.
know, yeah.
What you
Yeah.
say that the official numbers in Gateway.
Well, I'm
is
just telling you
different.
what I got here, you can do your own
Right.
research
No.
on it.
Well, but the
Sheriff, what I'm
problem-
saying is, I'm saying this is what
Different
we
numbers, I
have,
know
it's
what you're
different
saying.
numbers. So you have Gateway, which you say is official, we have what she hands us tonight, which is different, so.
That was Gateway on this here only, but we do our stuff, we do it with her. I'm telling you how much, you said you didn't know how much money you had in the funds, and I told you how much money, it showed up 11.6, how much you had in there.
So-
It don't take a genius to get on there and figure it out, you know, that's what I'm trying to say, you're switching it around,
I'm
different
not
things.
switching anything
Well, the
around.
problem I would see
We're
is
different
Joe
numbers.
Q Public could get on Gateway and look at that.
Yeah, good luck.
Then they could sit here and listen to what we're saying, and that doesn't add up.
Yeah,
And I
exactly.
think we need to be transparent with our community here and what is going on, and that's my troubling is if you did the math on $888,000, which is less than what we're actually talking about, that would be $55,500 for 16 people. So in essence, you would be paying them each $3,000 more than you're paying a road deputy, and you and I both know that ain't the case. I mean, I would hope not, cause I'd be really upset if I was a road deputy.
Well, here's the thing about it is this, I can tell you this, we have worked with Jennifer's office diligently,
And I need to
and we
be
asked
involved.
for everybody to be involved, but you guys didn't wanna be involved.
That's not true.
That's
That is
That's
true.
not true.
That
I've
is
never
true.
got an invite to be in any of those meetings.
Dude, I asked you, we need to have meetings, we told me, and you told me right over that budget hearing meeting, oh, don't worry about it, we got that taken care of November the 6th, or something like that.
No,
We
no.
were gonna have a joint meeting.
We did.
I asked you to have a meeting.
We did have a
ask you.
joint
We've
meeting
asked
on
you
the
several
6th.
times. We've asked several times.
And you're
I'm
here.
just telling you, we've asked several
Okay.
times.
Motion on the table a motion on the floor to table ordinance 2024-69 in the amount of $300,286 for more investigation into this, clarification into this amount.
I'll make a motion to table.
So Linda Eubanks with the motion
I'll
to
second.
table, Jonathan White with a second. Any questions or comments from the council members?
I would just like to make a comment that the reason we're tabling it is because we do not have solid, definite numbers. That's why we're tabling it. I don't want it being said to the public that we're not funding. We are tabling because we do not have solid numbers.
Okay.
With that being said,
Well, one other question, is that on the shortfall for any payroll right now, this, the list?
Actually, I think right now we're good for like one more payroll, like for the one Friday.
But there won't be a meeting before the next one, right?
No,
Unless you do it Thursday.
yeah.
Unless you
And you
have,
advertised, or do you have to re-advertise or anything?
We've already had a
If you
public
don't do
hearing.
it,
We've already had a
we
public
have already,
hearing.
yeah, we're good.
This will be Thursday.
so, all in favor of tabling this, and then we'll get to something else? Any, 7-0, any opposed? No. Do we want to talk about setting a meeting to go back over this, or do we wanna keep moving on here and make sure we have all of our questions?
Well, if the numbers is not jiving, and there's 3 different numbers going out here, if we can get the numbers shored up, can we meet all about this on Thursday, because we're having a meeting with the joint?
The only thing is, it's awful late, I don't know, well, the amend is already out for a joint meeting.
Yeah.
We could probably just amend that one.
I
Okay.
doubt they wanna sit through all that, I
We
mean,
set a budget last year for the sheriff's department. Payroll, I don't remember what the payroll part was, but have we spent $700,000 more than what we budgeted last year? That seems to be the elephant.
I will have to pull the budget for 24
We'll pull the budgets,
and look at
and
it.
I will also pull, payrolls, we'll do.
We should have a
payrolls.
Form 1 that all the line items are on, then we can go through them line by line
Well,
if we
I
need to.
know how we figured the budget for last year. What I don't understand is how we're $700,000, 2 months left in the year, $700,000.
Hey, Johnny, before we start putting out numbers like 700,000, we've established that we don't have numbers, so we are over, I think. I don't really know, but I think we're over, so before we start throwing out numbers that we're over
I agree,
or
I'm
whatever,
sorry.
let's just wait until we have some numbers, because that's gonna be misinformation being put out there.
So my question is, real quick, is How was you able to establish a 2025 budget if you didn't have the proper numbers to even finish out the
Well,
2025?
we thought we had we thought we
Well,
were
because you start
dealing with,
over.
we thought we were
I
dealing
know
with.
that, but
$25.
how could you not compare the two? Because there's still be,
Well, they come
usually
from-
there's encumbrances that go over.
this. Most of all that would go back to that fund, which is how you're able to possibly grow a fund a little bit. So you would start at 0 on all of your type of budgets and then work off of this summary of budget from provided by Baker Tilly of the numbers that would be incoming to be able to set a budget.
Did Baker Tilly have all the numbers they needed? They didn't have the discretionary funds? Or did
Sheriff,
they?
which discretionary funds are you talking about?
I've got a list of them.
Okay.
I've got firearms training,
Yeah, we don't have that.
We don't,
drug interdiction, and then I guess the SRO officers is on a different line item, the different monies.
It is.
They have their own budget.
I've got,
That's up discretion.
yeah, I've got several different discretionary funds. I've got auction funds, I've got sale funds, there's a bunch of them. And she has the list. There's too many of them to name, you know what I'm saying? And they've each got their own line.
The only
items.
statutory discretion fund that I'm aware of is the commissary
Oh,
and
there's
some of
more
the
than
grant
that.
funds.
Yeah, there's more.
Everything else still has to be appropriated.
Yeah.
You have
So
that
can
list.
you give me?
I
She's
can
got
send
the
it for
list.
you.
Can you
Thank
get
Yeah,
that
'cause it's
to
public
Heather's
record, anybody can get it.
Research that.
Thank you. Well, I have researched it. The only thing I
Yeah.
can find is commissary, and some of the grants from state and federal are the only discretionary. Everything else is still required to be appropriated through the council. So that's why I have some concerns. Even the auction proceeds funds, I've talked to the commissioners council, and that would still need to be appropriated through the body.
Unless we because that's already an ordinance for that.
There's an ordinance, but they still don't have the right to overcome statute that says we have to appropriate funds. So Zach and I are working through that. I think he was gonna talk to his clients about how we're gonna clean this up.
I'll just be honest with you, I think there's a lot of things you need to work on.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Absolutely.
So what's next?
Which one's the next one?
Well, the next one would be the, general fund, but if you're not familiar or not comfortable with the numbers, I don't know if you wanna work on that one this time either.
My only issue is I'm gonna get bills tomorrow. Am I gonna have the money to pay the bills? That's my only problem.
I guess, what line would they be out of? Is that fair to say?
Well, it's gonna be, probably most of them are medical, most of the bills we have are medical or maintenance. That's most of the bills, you know what I'm saying, that we occur right now, so.
So in like, I've seen medical and dental, you have $30,000 in that, and medical service contract, you have, oh, I'm sorry, 45,000 in the medical service contract, so, I mean, you have some medical in there. I'm
But
not
do we?
sure which,
I'm not sure.
like I said, this was handed to me tonight, and
Right.
I would have to, I guess, believe it's accurate, from, it was printed 11/12 at 4:50 PM. So that would be your unexpended balance in whatever line item.
But what I'm trying to say is this checks that's cleared, or is that already
That
marked
does,
off?
everything that you've sent over here
Would be
is
marked off
cleared out
already.
there. Yes,
Okay.
everything
So
is
that should
over
be
here.
the bottom number.
That should be what's left.
Yes, sir. So,
This is advertised, the tilt coder was advertised at 20,200. Yeah, but do you want it 20,200 or just 20,000 even?
I think it's 20,200 for the
It was-
price, wasn't it?
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know. because
Well,
I
I'm
didn't
gonna do
bring
the
it with me.
20,200 to be safe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It was like maybe 20,100 and up there, so I just made it to
I
2,200.
didn't hear, what was that for?
The kettle,
The tilt kettle,
Yeah, I think it's 20,000.
100 or 200?
I think how about let's just be safe, go with 200.
That's what I put.
That's what she did.
Spend a little bit to put it in.
Okay, I rounded it up from the 100, yeah.
On the
So,
next ordinance is, regarding the general fund for deputy salaries. You guys want to, it's $110,079, or, yeah, $79. Do you want to talk about that one
my
tonight? or you wanna
question
move that one?
is there money there to pay payroll if he needs it?
She said for one more.
yeah,
Are you good for, okay?
we'll be good for
Well,
this,
what
especially for
he's saying is
Thursday.
whatever bills you're talking about coming in is what you're talking about, right? But
Right,
But he's got money left in the medical,
yes.
so.
I never answered
Do
your
you have any
question
money
too
left
about
in the
me
maintenance?
Thursday.
JR?
I think as long as
What's
it's
that?
noticed 48 hours before it's
Has he got any
finally
money
can
left in
amend
the
the
maintenance?
agenda.
Okay. What's gonna say, the meeting
I
has
don't think there's
been
anything left in
noticed,
Atlantis, 'cause
it's a
that's what I
joint
had to.
meeting, but that's all I
what
put
had to
out
come
there,
back
so
to,
if you wanna amend the agenda,
water
use it,
heaters
that's
and
fine.
all
You
that
don't have
crap
to
is
have
broken.
an agenda, but if you do have an agenda, you have to have it at the beginning of the meeting.
Scotty
And we
said
can
that was
amend
all
that, we
covered.
can do whatever, so it's not.
Yeah,
So it's what's
you know what I'm
not
saying?
in the minutes, so.
The big thing
But it's a
is,
joint.
and that's what when I talked to Lee, I think
We
he
send them
was
over,
confused,
you know
because
what
he
I'm
was
saying,
like,
we
I'm
have
doing this
funds, we
week, and I had
send
to
them
tell him,
over, so.
that's what we use for
I know
date
as
time
of
and
about a
place.
week
The
and a
most
half ago.
important thing is the date, time, and place.
I think
Notice
that's
is
what
48
we
hours before. Agenda, it's lovely to have up there so people know.
Do we get all of the contractors that they've sent over bills on, are they all paid?
As far as I know, everything that has come, what Mandy told me is everything that's come from the jail has been paid. Now, the urgents went out Friday, the others would have gone out today, but Mandy didn't come in, so they'll be tomorrow. But they will go in the mail tomorrow, they've already been printed, ready to go.
And I'm just gonna be honest, Jennifer's been golden, she's worked with us and tried to help and do everything we can, but, you know what I'm saying? Again, it just needs to be
We'll figure it
fixed.
out.
So, do you guys want to deal with this general fund one, or do we wanna set it for
I think we need to table it until we can look at the, try to get
some more numbers?
Yeah. I
And
think we
again,
just,
put it out there, it's just so that we can
Just
get accurate
for
numbers.
clarification.
But as long as we can do
Clarification.
this Thursday,
Yes,
because if not, we need to do something, because, you know, they gotta be paid.
right,
So-
right,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't think we should ever not
No,
pay
no,
anyone who
100%,
works,
no,
I
but I'm
don't
saying, as long as
think
we can do
anybody's
it
saying that.
Thursday, well, any kind of.
They should be
something,
compensated in
because
some
We're
form.
gonna come up, well, we can't do this now, because they're not gonna be able to make it to December,
Exactly.
so as long as we're sure we do this, then I'm good for, you know, tabling, we'll just do it Thursday.
I'll make a
Everybody's
motion
here.
to table
Can we sit
the
down and try and sort it tomorrow?
Yeah.
something. I
The
don't
motion
know
on the
what
floor to
I'm
table
tabling.
ordinance 2024-70,
Thank
which is the general fund for deputy salaries in the amount of $110,000 and $110,079, sorry, I can't speak, made by Lindy Eubanks, second by John Collins. All in favor of
I
that?
have a question.
Sure, I'm sorry about that
He's
question.
paying this next payroll out of what he has existing in his account.
Yes,
The
ma'am.
next payroll,
Yes, ma'am.
okay.
Yeah,
I
he's
just-
got money,
I
he's
just-
got money for more payroll.
Okay,
We're gonna do
I
this
wanted
Thursday
to make sure I was clear.
So-
All right.
Alright, all in favor? Any opposed? Table, no, that one's tabled.
And you did say all the bills that he's gave you is all paid?
Yes. Now, do you wanna do anything with the tilt kettle, or what are you with that?
Do you guys wanna address that, or do you want?
Yeah, we gotta have
Where's
it
that,
tabled.
where's that coming out of?
Do you have that already ordered?
We have to order 6 to 8
So I'm
weeks
saying
out,
something,
yes,
6 to 8
yes,
weeks
yes,
out.
yes.
Okay.
Cause I tell you right now, if we don't get that fixed and somebody gets burnt with the kettle that's down there at the broken, the money it's gonna cost in lawsuits ain't gonna be nothing compared to $20,000.
It's coming out of lit, so I
say
think that
go ahead
we
and vote that,
move on it.
move on that tonight.
Which I will say,
Well,
I
Jennifer,
know
this
you
balance
said
that you
you
gave us
asked
didn't have the
to
kettle.
speak to
taken
me
out.
or have us involved several times, and on September 25th, I sent an email regarding the tilt kettle and didn't get any reply back, but saying that we would urge you not to spend the money until there's an appropriation for it, and I know.
That's when we asked,
you
I
went
went through
ahead
the
and
commissioners.
bought it anyway.
Yeah, that's when I went through the commissioners, and the commissioners told me to go ahead and buy it, told me to do that, so, yeah, they approved me to do it, cause they realized what was going on.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's, am I right, Greg?
He
When
wasn't
it-
paying attention.
Yeah, he was, sorry.
Whenever we bought the tilt kettle, I contacted you guys first. He said I just went and bought the tilt kettle, you know what I'm saying, without any approval or anything, but I
That's not what he
contacted you
said.
guys first.
That's not what I said.
That's not what he said.
I just said that we didn't have the appropriation for it at that time.
Okay.
And we don't have an appropriation for it as of yet.
That's, I'm
unless we
asking you tonight.
Pass this, but
Yes.
I guess my issue is, we have this misconception in this county that, like, we go back to the water bottle example, you either have it in your budget to buy it, or you get an appropriation, then buy it. We go buy things or do things and then expecting an appropriation, and that's totally wrong. So like, one of the things
That's
that
a
you
discussion you
said,
need to have with the commissioners.
well, one of
They
the,
approved the purchasing, so that's one thing I can tell you.
right. but
That's
as
their
of-
building, it's not mine, it's the commissioner's building.
So why didn't it come out of their fund?
Well, you're asking me that, I don't know. That's not my decision, that's like you said, you're the ones that appropriates the money, not me.
All right,
I got you.
I'll make a motion to,
I second it.
Except the ordinance 2024-71, which is an additional appropriation ordinance out of lit special purpose for the jail building repair and maintenance in the amount of $20,200, which will take care of maybe an overage of a little bit, but it'll take care of this tilt kittle issue. Motion made by Lindy Eubanks, seconded by John Miller. Any questions or comments regarding this? All in favor? Any opposed? 5-2.
I just wanna hear you say tilt kettle one more time, cause I can't say it. I just have to say kettle.
Tilted out. What else we got?
Maybe if I enunciated it as well as that, I could
Slow
say
down,
it.
slow down, yeah.
Going a million miles an hour.
So, Ms. Jennifer, so if Thursday night, we can have all these numbers shored up and all the other funds that he gets
Oh,
that
who was it?
we don't have record of, and we can get that, it's gonna help us in the future to make a lot better decisions when people come to this table, and I'd like to have that if we
I had
could,
said it.
if we can.
What was it? I was talking, I'm sorry, what did we get?
No, I'm just saying, it just, when you're doing, you gotta have numbers, and the numbers are gotta be right, and then if the sheriff's got other ways to get money that we don't know about, that Jennifer knows about, we don't know about, it's
Well,
hard
and
to
I
make
didn't know
decisions.
about
Well,
it
I'm just
until
saying,
Friday,
okay,
so.
but we can't
we're all
make
learning,
decisions to do that, and me personally, I'm not talking for the council, just me personally, I'd rather be able to know what we got, so we know what we can do, without, having to table everything, go back and try to find money, and do this, do that, and make it a whole lot easier for us, I do
Right.
think. So, I mean, I'm just one man on this council.
I guess since it regards salaries, is there a way to see like, how many people are we paying for the
Yes, we
remainder
can.
of the year? Yeah, so we make sure that we're
That's what you
not,
did, wasn't it?
like,
We went through the salaries, I'll go back through there and see what our average pay is and go from there.
anything else anybody request or would like to see for, be able to make a decision on these upcoming, there's only two that were tabled, which is number 69 and 70 for salaries, they're,
And that means at 6 o'clock Thursday,
Yes.
yes.
and I'd like for you to do that.
6 o'clock Thursday.
You don't get approved.
And that's a joint meeting also?
Yes, it is. Well, they have their joint meeting at 5, where they have their,
Oh,
we'll
okay.
be at 6 o'clock. So.
Okay, cool.
And probably more than likely we'll address
Now,
this
I
stuff
only advertised it at
after,
6.
Get
So
done.
they don't
Yeah,
have
That's what I'm
all
saying,
six.
Commissioner.
No.
Oh,
No, there's not gonna be a
I'm
It's
sorry,
only
I'm
at
sorry,
six.
Sheriff, it's all 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
Oh, it's all at 6.
6 o'clock.
Yep.
yeah, everything's at 6.
Yep.
well, I think we'll still
Let them do Thursday.
do our stuff and then we'll do this stuff afterwards, so that, unless the president
Well-
decides.
I mean, I think you guys wanted to be involved in some of this, so we know where we're at on money, so we can move on the other ARPA thing, right?
That's correct.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so I think we can put it all to bed on Thursday whenever all 10 of us are in this room at 6 PM. And by then, will that give you time to do whatever you need to
I hope so.
dig up, and we'll
Yeah.
make sure,
I think
All these
you
are right.
probably got it. I think they said that they'd had that, so
Yeah.
you just don't have it handy right now.
alrighty,
All right.
I think that's it for
Consideration of
yours, consideration of the minutes, you guys have a chance to look over those.
I move that we approve the minutes.
John Collins making a motion to approve the
I'll
minutes.
second.
Lindy Eubanks with a second.
Several, the budget and everything, so I don't know if you want to do it inclusive or what you want to do, but
You
here
wanna do all of them?
Yeah, just do all of them.
So,
Not going back breakfast.
alright. Motion on the floor with a second for the minutes to approve. Any opposed? 7-0 on minutes approval.
who was the second?
Collins.
Oh, I thought
I
he,
made them.
Alright, he did, Lindy was the second, I'm sorry, I'm backwards. Alright, unless anybody has any other business, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Johnny White with the motion,
I'll second.
Collins with the second, any,
What all we got
all in
signed?
favor? 7-0, meeting adjourned. 7:35-ish, or 7:33.
and don't forget.
Don't forget to sign stuff.
Is the recording on?
Not yet.